Hello, and welcome to Building Your Online Class Part 5 Conferences. My name is Rose DiNardo, and I am the Assistant Director of the e-learning division. Today's webinar will be pretty brief, but just so that you are aware, we are using the conference system that is in the Learning Management System Canvas. By now, you have attended parts 1 through 4. You should have planned out your class, built your syllabus, added modules, added files and pages, created assignments and discussion boards, and done quizzes and exams. So for conferences, we're going to talk about what you can use the Live tab for. The Live tab is a way for you to communicate with your students at the same time. You can do this for test reviews. You can do this for office hours if you wanted to. So it's a really useful tool and very easy to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a conference. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click onto my course, and I'm going to use this history course right here. And then off to the left where we have our tabs, there should be a live tab, a conferences tab, which is right here. So I'm going to click on the conferences tab. You can see we have a spot for our new conference, and we have a spot for our concluded conferences. Concluded conferences can be recorded and kept for 2 weeks. So if you were doing a test review at, say, Monday at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and students could not attend, you could record it and save it for 2 weeks for your students to access. So what I'm going to do is I want to start a new conference. So I am going to click on the plus conference button here at the top left. The first thing I want to do is I want to name the conference. So I'm going to name this one Training Session Part 5, since this is the Part 5 of the series. For the type, we are going to use Big Blue Button. That's your only option here. Now, this is a little misleading. It says duration 60 minutes. That is not how long your conference is. In Big Blue Button, there is no limit on the duration of your conference. 60 minutes is the time limit for how long you want your students to be able to come into the conference conference time. So if I was running a conference test review from, say, 7 to 8 p.m. and I didn't want anybody to come in at 45 minutes after, I would put 45 minutes. Do I want to enable recording for this conference? So you can click yes. And no time limit for long running conferences. So no, I don't want any time limit for conferences. You could put in a description. So I could put in for the students that we are going to review chapters 1 and 2 of our test. And then invite all course members. So if I wanted to do a test review or office hours, I would invite everybody. But if I wanted to just have a one-on-one conference with one student, I could do that by clicking on the checkbox by invite all course members and choosing one student in particular. And then that means that they are the only student that can access the course. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as set to all students. And I'm going to click the update button at the bottom right. So now you can see my training session part 5 conference is there, but it's not started yet. I actually have to start it myself by clicking on the start button here to the right of the name of the conference. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that start button. It's going to check for my audio. Now, because I'm already using audio for our conference, I'm just going to put in listen only mode. But generally I would choose microphone. Okay, it has now connected me to the big blue button. Now, some of the features I want to talk about are how you can communicate with your students. Your students do not need to have a microphone or a webcam to communicate with you. They could simply communicate through this chat area down here below. So as you can see, I just said hello. So you can have the microphone and respond to their questions verbally, but your students don't need that technology in order to speak with you, which is a nice feature. Here, you have an edit cog to manage your users. One of the things that we suggest is to mute all users when they come in, especially if you're doing something like a test review at first and you want to get all the information out. And then you can unmute everybody all at once, or you can unmute them one at a time so that they can ask questions. You can also create a breakout room. When you create breakout rooms, you can choose how many rooms that you want the students to be a part of. So maybe I have a class of 20 students and I want to create 5 rooms. So what will happen is you can either put them in the room yourself. You could randomly assign everybody to a breakout room, and you can get to choose how long you want the students to be in that room before they all come back to the main area. Now, because I'm the only one on the conference, that's why you only see my name in the not assigned column. But had I had other people join in with us, their names would also be listed here, and I can drag and drop them into the individual rooms. And then I would click on the create button. Other features of the big blue button. Well, if I click on this plus sign down at the bottom, somewhat to the left, it says actions. I can start a poll. And as you can see, oh, sorry, I have to keep moving the window pane here. As you can see, I can type in a poll and select what kind of poll it's going to be, or I can customize it. If I click on that same button, I can upload a presentation. So if I wanted to, I could bring up a PowerPoint. I can also share an external video. Say there was a video on YouTube that I wanted to share, I could do that as well from this little action button right here. I believe that the upload a presentation, I should say, is the thing that people use the most when they are using Big Blue Button. The second most used feature is the whiteboard. So what confuses people a lot here, on my screen, it looks like these are buttons. These are not buttons. These are just letting you know what icons, these are just icons letting you know what features are available in the big blue button. So if I wanted to get to a whiteboard, I would simply click next slide down here. It would take me to a blank slide that I could use for a whiteboard. Over here to the right, I have my tools. So I have tools that will, if I click on it, will allow me to type text. I can change the font size. I can change the color. I can undo what I did. I can also draw lines to something on my PowerPoint presentation. I can draw different shapes. Or if I wanted to, I could use the pencil and I could write. Now, I'll be honest, I am not good at the pencil. Other people are much better at it than me, as you can see. But you can use the pencil if you want it to, or you can simply use it to circle something if you want it. And you can undo everything that you've done. If you wanted to, you could use the little trash can to clear all annotations at once, unlike what I did where I cleared them off a little bit at a time. Down here at the bottom, we have leave audio, so I can stop my audio if I wanted to. I could mute myself, that is. I could share my webcam if I wanted to. So if you wanted to, you could see yourself and your students. Or you can share your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So what it does is it brings up a box and it lets you choose what screen you are going to share. So let me see. Let me go to Chrome and I will share my Mendeley Reference Manager screen with you. So we'll take a moment. There you go. So here I am sharing a screen. So if you had something up, maybe you need to teach with Excel, or maybe you have something up on your screen, a photo that you want to share, something of that nature. You can do that all through Big Blue Button as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to go back to Big Blue Button. Now, as far as the whiteboard goes, you can see the slides at the bottom. You have 12 slides, so you don't have to erase what you put on the board. You could keep going to the next slide. Now, I will tell you that if you are recording this, which the record button is at the very top of the screen, it will record what's on the whiteboard, but it will not record external items, such as the PowerPoint that you load or the external video under actions. So you want to keep that in mind when you're recording your conferences. All right, let me see if there are any questions that have popped up. All right, I don't see any questions. As I mentioned in the beginning, that this was going to be a very brief part of the online building process. There isn't much to conferences. For those of you who have joined us late, I wanted to let you know that the conference tool in Canvas can be used for things such as test reviews. It can be used for synchronous classes. It can be used for office hours, and it can be used for one-on-one conferences. If you joined us late, you don't have to worry. This session is being recorded and will be in the Canvas Faculty Hub shortly. But again, that's all I have on using this particular tool. As we get down to building the classes, the features don't take as long to manage. So that's why this is a very brief session. Thursday session is going to be the grade book. Ginny will take you through using all the functions in the grade book and how to grade your different assignments and discussion boards and exams. So I hope that you can join us for that. Okay, it looks like we have a question. Are all the conferences available in case we forgot some features? Yes, all of our sessions that we are doing are available in the Canvas Faculty Hub. So when you go into your portal, you will have in your Canvas account access to a course shell that says Canvas Faculty Hub, and that's where all the conferences are available. All right, any more questions? All right, well, I don't see any more questions coming through. Thank you for joining me for this brief session. I hope that you give the Canvas conferences a try. Remember, though, that your recordings are only good for 2 weeks, so you want to keep that in mind, and it's important to let your students know that as well if you're recording your conferences, right? If you think of any questions that you did not think of while we were on our session, you can feel free to contact us at the distance learning email. That's distancelearning@camdencc.edu, and one of us will be happy to get back to you. All right, thank you and have a great afternoon.